I thought gaming mice had peaked, but Pwnage is here to prove me wrong once again. I'm always wrong. This is the Pwnage Stormbreaker mouse. It is a premium magnesium alloy special edition mouse. High performance gaming, all that good stuff. We're just gonna get right into it. Let's unbox everything. We have our mouse. We have our wireless receiver. This is surprisingly light. Normally these things are like hefty, you know, they want to stay in one spot on your desk. We have a braided USB-A to Type-C, about 6 feet long. That's a pretty good length. The dongle actually has a Type-C, so you plug into this, but it's also your charging cable. Big fan of that type of solution. We have our grip tape, which is included. Kind of a neat design. We may put that on. And then we have this, which I genuinely don't know what it is. Oh, it's a little screwdriver. I'm actually a big fan of this. And this will be useful for this mouse secret killer feature, which is that it actually has a sensor you can change the position of. We'll get to that when we get to that. First things first, let's talk about the way this mouse looks. This is a magnesium alloy mouse, but at first glance, that's not what you would notice. You would notice this beautiful design, very reminiscent of a Final Mouse Starlight mouse. Almost looks like a copy, but that's okay. I like the way the honeycomb shape kind of adds this sense of, you know, speed to the shape. Even the honeycombs extend all the way to the mouse buttons, and the sides kind of like, almost like a tiger stripe. Even some speed holes on the bottom. All in all, a pretty darn good looking mouse if you're into this sort of aesthetic. It comes in 5 different colors, including the red, which we have. Surprisingly, the details are actually a little more different. I assumed it would be almost exactly the same thing, just the blue replaced with red, but there's a little more of the silver on the blue one, which is kind of interesting. Next, let's talk about the shape and how this mouse feels in the hand. This is a magnesium alloy mouse, so it's exceptionally sturdy and rigid, even though it comes in at a very light 51 grams. The advantages of magnesium is that it's, you know, 33% lighter than aluminum, and you can use less of it compared to plastic. You often end up with these exceptionally light mice that are very rigid, especially considering the honeycomb design. 51 grams isn't the lightest gaming mouse, but it's pretty close. The measure that Pwnage wants you to focus on is the weight density. They say that this is one of the lowest density gaming mice, is coming in at 0.17 grams per centimeter cubed compared to the average of like 0.25. All in all, in real world terms, what that means is that's a light mouse. By default, it comes with the PTFE feet. You can get optional glass feet, which would be nice. I still think they're a little bit too small of a surface for it to be most effective. The weight is even more impressive when you consider that the battery is capable of 120 hours, according to Pwnage, and can charge in just under 2 hours. That's pretty good battery performance for a mouse of this weight and this kind of performance caliber, and that's nice to see. Like I've said on this channel before, I'm not a huge fan of honeycomb mice. I'm coming around and I'm trying out a few more of them. The way this pattern feels on the hands, you can definitely notice the indentations. It's not the most invisible honeycomb pattern. It's not uncomfortable, but it's definitely, I'm hyper aware of the skin contact I'm having with this mouse. Where I grip it on the buttons, I don't feel that. I find the holes most pronounced feeling on my ring finger and thumb. I'm a big fan of right-handed mice. I prefer the shape of like a 703 to a G Pro, and I've been looking for a ultralight, high-performance right-handed mouse because I like the way that my hand shapes into it. The clicks are very clicky. They feel very consistent. The side buttons, I can feel the difference when I press them with my thumb. These buttons are the Omron 20 million rated switches, which is, you know, disappointing when you compare it to some of the other mice that have 80 million clicks, 50 million clicks. But Pwnage has said that they hand pick and test every switch that goes into a mouse. So even though it might be a lower rated switch, I am a big fan of having my parts hand selected and binned for me. This scroll wheel is awesome. It's very light to move, but it's very clear how many clicks I'm pulling through. I like the size of it, the position of it. I'm feeling very disappointed by the click though. That is a bad click. Listen to the beautiful main button clicks and then listen to the, that's disappointing. The scroll wheel feels so good to scroll, so bad to click. And that lackluster click is pretty disappointing, especially when you consider that Like most FPS focused mice, there isn't any other buttons. There's a lot of games that have actions assigned to the middle mouse click, and I think that in the heat of a moment, I would have trouble pressing without clicking and even knowing if I had clicked. So that's pretty disappointing. And there really is no other buttons. There's not even a DPI switch, which is interesting considering that one of the big appeals of this is the customization of the location of the sensor, which, thank goodness, is an excellent sensor. It's the Pixart 3395, which is a flawless sensor. It's got very low liftoff distance, DPI up to 26,000, IPS of 650, which in my opinion is a more important measurement. This is an excellent sensor. It's not gonna have any issues. And I'm very interested to see what it's gonna feel like as I slide the sensor up and down this bad boy. Because it's so light, I feel like the weight distribution might get thrown off. But that's something I'm going to have to test out after I tell you about our sponsor, Secretlab. Thanks to Secretlab for sponsoring today's video. Secretlab chairs are engineered to keep you incredibly comfortable for long hours at work and play. Their Titan Evo 2022 chair keeps you feeling comfortable for longer. It's got 4-way lumbar support and an ultra comfortable line of different seat materials and more. All of their chairs come with up to a 5-year extended warranty and a 49-day return policy. Head to the link in the description below and check out Secretlab today. One of the killer features of this mouse is actually this dongle. This mouse can do 2000 hertz, which is, double what most gaming mice can do. Yeah, we've had 4000 and 8000 kilohertz mice, but I'm really grateful that the trend is kind of becoming more widespread. Personally, I can't super tell the difference, although on Pwnage's website, they link to a scientific study where they're showing just how much jitter there is in a 1000 hertz polling rate. I'm not convinced of polling rates higher than 1000 hertz, but maybe this one will be the one to change my mind. I was installing the Pwnage software and it is not working. Oh, it is, but there's no text. It's very confusing. I don't know what I'm clicking. This is fun. All right, let's check out this software. We've got our mouse in the wrong color. That's a little detail that would be nice to change. We can, on this main page, we can customize what our buttons do, not our left click, but everything else. We can kind of mess around with it. You could even, if you wanted, assign one of your buttons to be a DPI key. You can change the liftoff distance. I'm not sure why you would want anything but the lowest option for increased accuracy. You can turn on motion synced. Theoretically, it's supposed to pair the polling rate of the mouse better with CPU cycles so that there's no cycles that are not getting mouse signal. Next, we have our slam click prevention. So, you slam the mouse down, it's supposed to prevent it. I'm guessing it's just disabling mouse clicks when it's coming down. You save your profile, export them. It also gives you a little status indicator, so it's charging? No, it's not. I'm also becoming more and more irate with these speed holes on the side. Luckily, Pwnage has included grip tape that kind of covers those holes, and I've actually enjoyed some grip tape on some mice before, so I'm gonna try putting it on. It's pretty cool that it has a little design. And we'll see how it feels on the hand. This is something I'm not good at. We have the grip tape on. I'll let you guys judge the aesthetics of, this is ugly. The grip tape itself feels very good, but it has that 5-year-old rubber stickiness, like when it's starting to degrade. I know that's not what it is, but it's not a super pleasant feeling, and I kind of like all my gaming stuff to be smooth, and this would get gunked up and gross really quick. I'm getting all set up for some Halo on this great WAN show desk pad available at lttstore.com. Plenty of room, plenty of smooth. This mouse feels really good to play on, like very accurate, very responsive. Immediately I'm like, this is a mouse I could have as my daily driver gaming mouse. If I could get over the speed holes, this is otherwise an excellent mousing experience. All right, let's try moving the sensor using the included screwdriver. It's interesting, the screws are Phillips, but the included bit is a slot? Is it two-sided? It's two-sided. We could actually move it down if we wanted, more into the palm area. Kind of a cool thing. Maybe there's someone out there that has that desire. But the trend seems to be moving the sensor higher up, so you have a little more fine control using your wrist and fingers, just like we figured out on the Aero 1 unboxing. Let's take the sensor from down here and put it up here. Feels pretty similar. A little more sensitive, which I think is good. I was finding that the 800 DPI on this mouse and monitor felt a little slow. So this is actually feeling a little bit more familiar for me. Oh, hello. Oh, nice teamwork. Yeah, I actually like having this sensor at the top. So that's definitely a plus. The customization is very much appreciated. The only question that remains is, am I recommending you buy this product? No. On paper, based on the specs and the information I had very high hopes for this mouse. But after using it for a bit, it's not super comfortable to use. These speed holes are worse than any I've experienced before. It's really uncomfortable. And once you put the grip tape on, that premium feeling goes away. When you're paying $180 for a mouse, I expect it to be the perfect mouse. And I feel like these small compromises sort of add up and make it that I would probably shift my attention to a different mouse. I really like the Final Mouse Starlight, but I personally prefer the G Pro X Superlight, which is actually $30 cheaper than this. If money is no object, there's that Razer Viper Signature Mini, which is, in my opinion, my favorite gaming mouse, but that's $100 more. If you're someone that likes honeycomb mice and you don't grip your mouse, or you don't mind putting grip tape on your mouse, this is not a bad option. As a gaming mouse, it performed really well. It felt good in game, but it is not the one for me. Thanks for watching Short Circuit. If you liked this video, why don't you check out my unboxing of the Aero 1, the mouse that has its sensor close to the top.